My wife calls this the Blair Witch Project POV. Welcome back, BTBG family. It's your man Dan, back with another one. Welcome to the Pyrocene, otherwise known as the Anthropocene. We have a lot of fires in the country right now going on, and this is the result. I refuse myself to do any kind of video color adjustment because I think it's very important for us to really see and take in and acknowledge what's happening in our world. I don't talk a whole lot about politics. I don't talk a whole lot about the awful stuff going on in our world right now, but it is very important to still acknowledge what's happening, especially as we go forward into the future, to be sustainable, to be self-sufficient, be self-reliant. But this is what it is. We're gonna be out here doing our garden update. Today is the 3rd of August. We're gonna be doing the garden update and a harvest video because we got some things that we need to get off out of our plants right now. We got some zucchini, we might have some carrots, we got some cucumber that are coming, of course. We may have some beets. We definitely have a couple of tomatoes that I want to get out of here. We have a ton of beans in here that I need to get off, and we might have some green dot. I don't think that we have any Romas in the back going just yet, and I did realize that I have been pulling off my tomatillos too early. They're supposed to turn completely purple when they're ready. So let's go ahead and get to it. First thing we need to do, we have our makeshift veggie box here because we don't have a fancy little veggie basket, so we use what we got as long as it carries vegetable, right? So in here you can see that we have some powdery mildew occurring. I just got out here yesterday and sprayed everything over here and over on the other side with some potassium bicarbonate. As I said before, this whole area from about here over, I didn't have enough in-ground compost, so I know that's why this is happening. The soil itself is still more fungally dominated, and that's what happens whenever that occurs, is you'll start to notice that plants don't grow as well in those areas, and they start to develop things like we talked about in our foundation series number 3. Whenever the soil isn't balanced, you start to have different issues like this. So we have some really bad powdery mildew over here on our collard greens. We haven't had any issues on our zucchini because that area did age properly. And then down here we have beans, and these only give us one really good output, but you can also see at the ends here with our sunflowers, you can see that the soil is not great here. But this is why we planted beans here and sunflowers, because we're trying to remediate this area. At the end of the season, I'm going to take my raw compost over there. I'm going to till all this area up, and we're going to put all the raw compost down in here. I may do that sooner rather than later, honestly. The collard greens are doing okay, but honestly, I may just do some collard greens somewhere else or over in our hydroponics. The beans aren't really doing anything else, and the only thing they're really doing at this point is helping the soil remediate itself by feeding the bacterial population, as they are nitrogen fixers. We also talked about that in foundation series number 3. Anyway, let's go ahead and get our little zucchini. I say little. Oh, hi baby. These 2 plants at the front. This one is here at the back, kind of by itself. Oh, gorgeous. Oh, that's a perfect zucchini, baby. That's a perfect zucchini. And then you can see we have some more coming here. A little wonky shape. We have one over there. I think we have 3 full zucchini plants that have taken and are holding well this season. I had one back here, didn't do well, but I know I have a vine coming out somewhere that I saw. And I think that I accidentally planted a butternut squash over here as well. I don't know where that vine went. Anyway, this is all doing pretty well. I'm gonna get some organic fertilizer and throw it under here to help them out. Like I said before, this whole area hasn't been as conditioned as some of my other areas over here, but it's actually doing it way better than I thought it would. So we'll go ahead and put that in our box. Now we're gonna check on our peppers under here. These are rainbow peppers. We have 3 beautiful ones there and some more coming. Then this one back here is a poblano. We actually have one down there and a couple coming up at the top as well. And then our carrots over here are actually doing really, really well. I just pulled out a couple of carrots. Oh, there it is. This is another butternut squash plant that I accidentally planted down here. I don't know how I did that, but we have a butternut squash here. We have a bunch on the other side that I'm going to show you here in a second. But all of this over here ultimately is bonus. I don't ever want to keep my soil bare. Even if I plant something and it doesn't do super well, the very fact that the plant is in the ground means that it's going to be feeding the soil, going to be communicating with the soil, it's going to be exchanging nutrients and exudate with the soil to help that soil to age and balance itself out more over time. Now we're gonna go over here. I did want to show you this over here. This is Noah's pea plant garden. Here in Vancouver, Washington, it's kind of hit or miss with peas. You can see that we had our first kind of growth here at the beginning of the season. It grew really well, gave us a few peas. They started to kind of die off like this, but I know that with peas, they'll stunt, or they'll halt when it gets over a certain temperature. And then when the temperature goes back down, the peas will kind of start growing again. As you can see, we have more flowering up here from this one that's basically dead. But ultimately what ends up happening, because they've already kind of stopped, they've already experienced that heat, the next peas that they put out are gonna be a little harder, a little starchier, a little less tasty. So what I do is I literally take the peas that are matured, that are not good to eat, and I'll put them right back into the ground. Now you can see under here, we have a bunch of peas that are already sprouted from the ones that I planted here, down here under this little pea. And I planted a bunch all across this. And we're gonna keep doing that. Matter of fact, I'll show you how I do it right now. See how big that is? This actually probably wouldn't be too bad to eat, but you can see how big those peas are in there. I can tell that they probably wouldn't be too tasty, honestly. So all I do, grab that pea. Let's see if I don't hit another pea while I'm digging down in here. I put them everywhere. Put that down in there. Grab that pea, put that down in there. Oop, grab that pea, put that down in there. I'll put these peas all over the place, because what I'm trying to do is practice a law of large numbers. Even if only half of the peas that I plant re-sprout for the fall, even if only half of them sprout, I'll still have a bunch more that come from those. And maybe El Nino proves to do what it's supposed to be doing. We'll have an even longer fall, which will allow for our peas to grow for even longer, give us even more peas. So this is how I do things. This is think beyond the box, because we don't just throw things out. We don't just, you know, whatever we can do to recycle, that's what we do. Now this one is, ooh, that one kind of fell apart. That one went way too far. And give it to the bugs. I love these snow peas. I was hoping that these would grow more, because just the snap peas over here were growing and I was planting those. But these snow peas are actually really tasty. And I was hoping, oops, I was hoping that more of these would get all the way to maturity, so I could plant more of these and have more of these in the fall too. That just goes to show you, there's no real waste in the garden. The only thing that really matters is our effort. We put in the effort, propagate this stuff, to move it forward in the system, then it will take care of us. You can see down here, I think this is one that I planted. No, I just planted that. Okay, we'll just do like this then. 5 whole peas right there, and there we go. So that's what's going on with the peas right now. We got a bunch under here, but all these are gonna have to go back into the ground. Once I get them all off, I'll probably chop all these off so we can give more space to the new peas that are gonna come up. Down here, right behind me, we have our beet and rutabaga area. The rutabaga here is actually going nuts. We got a couple more over here, but the beets are kind of shading them out under here. We got some good beets. Let's see if we can get a quick beet harvest to use with our dinner tonight. Whoa, yeah, that one almost got too big. Split on the side right there. Nice, that's gorgeous. It tells me I need to be looking for more beets to make sure they aren't getting too big and splitting. Oh, that's another one. These beets aren't supposed to get gigantic. The beets at the store are they're type of beet that are supposed to get 5-6 inches across, and they're not organic. These are 100% organic. I didn't add any type of synthetic nutrients over here. All that it has is what's under the ground as my in-ground compost is feeding it. There's another one. Some of these up front are doing really well too, because they're up here by themselves. Wow, look at that. Woo! Look at that, almost fell. Wow, beautiful. This is about the size that you want them, about the size of a golf ball. Any bigger than they're likely to start splitting, getting woody. Once we're done over here though, I am going to be replanting beets for the fall. Of course, I'm gonna let my rutabaga keep going. Those are gonna be good as it gets cooler. But these beets are almost completely done. You can see the leaves are starting to kind of slow down. They're getting a little raggedy here and there, but they're doing pretty phenomenal. I'm very happy with this year, very happy. Now, of course, we have here our cucumber wall that's happening. Cucumbers are growing up this trellis as I imagined it. I didn't imagine they would start going over and across to our sunflowers, but they are. Sunflowers can take it. They're getting gigantic. I didn't really spotlight the sunflowers, but I'm really, really excited about how these sunflowers have come out this year. I planted way too many, and they are enormous. They're enormous. They're enormous, but I'm really happy because we're gonna get tons of sunflower seeds. We're gonna be able to do plenty of things with those. If I knew how to make sunflower oil, I'll be making sunflower oil, but don't know how to do that yet, but we will in the future. See under here, you got our beautiful cucumber. I think that's just about ready to come off. You can see as it starts to lighten, that's what you want to look for. Whenever they're all the way done, they turn almost a yellow. Same thing with zucchini and other squash-like vine plants. We have some here, there, here. I had one over here. I don't know where it went. Oh, no, we ate it. We have one here, and then we have a bunch of small ones that are coming. The bees are loving this area too. Super excited, super happy with it. You can see all of our tomatoes that are coming here as well. These are cherry tomatoes, I believe. Yeah, cherry tomatoes. We have another cucumber that's getting, oh no. Ah, come here, get out of there. A cucumber. Oh no. Well, that's that. Throw it back to the ground for the bugs and stuff. It's all good. Got caught between this cattle panel and the rail. It's all good. It'll grow plenty more. We got plenty more coming all the way up here. But all those are doing super great. You can see we have a little bit of die off down here because of light. And whenever they can't really photosynthesize like they really want to, they start dying off and they start getting a little bit of disease here. I'll probably come through and cut off all the bad leaves just to make sure it doesn't spread up my vines and kill everything. But you can see we have even more cucumbers growing all through here. But you can see also our sunflowers are doing amazing. I know that this sunflower is for sure 8 feet tall. It's already developing a big head up top, and these are still growing as well. This one's gonna be massive. You can see how perfect it is. These leaves are spotless. It's gonna be massive. So these are gigantic, and then I have a couple over here that I know are like 9 feet tall. This one's 9 feet tall. This is 8 feet for sure. Yeah, they're just going gangbusters out here. I'm really happy with them. Now, we need to get some of these tomatoes out of here. I have a Berkeley Tie-Dye, the first of my Berkeley Tie-Dye, and we need to get it because it's massive and I do not want it to split or to go bad. Let's see if we can get it without dropping it. Oh, it's so big. Okay, there we go. Okay, snip, snippy, snip. Cut yourself, snip. Oh my gosh, as they cut the branch. Ah. Oh. Look at that. My God. That's like 6 inches across. My gosh. And it's gorgeous. Because we have some of this. This is where the flower stamen kind of gets stuck and then it kind of tears as it grows. That's kind of what that happens there. But other than that, I have just a little bit of cat facing here. Well, this is perfectly usable. It's gorgeous. A lot of times when these big tomatoes like this get super big, they'll end up developing a lot of this woody stuff around their flower, basically the flower tip, and then it'll go kind of throughout. But I don't think this went through too far. And of course, like I said, whenever that happens, you can only kind of cut around it and use what's around that area because it's not tasty. But this looks great. Wow. Okay, we got that. I'm gonna have to get this here. This is a Cherokee purple. This is just one that it's not great. This is one of the very first ones. This area was having some water issue, and whenever I finally started giving them enough water, the water that they need, because this is a giant freaking bush, a lot of those issues, the bud end rot, the cat facing and stuff started to fade away. You can start to see that as you go up. So here at the front, we have our beautiful Cherokee purple. You can see how beautiful it looks now. No cat fade, though this one had some bud end rot. Once again, I started adding enough water and everything, and I think that it's kind of subsided. Honestly, I think I'm gonna just cut this one though, because this plant is gonna be giving this thing energy, and I don't think that it's gonna be good to eat anyway. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it for now. I'll make a decision on that later, but we also have a ton under here, so I'm not super concerned about having to cut any. We have a ton of freaking tomatoes. A ton of tomatoes. Look at this. They're all through. You can see over here in this area, I literally just got to come out today and tie all this up. It was all falling over, and because of that, it was kind of smothering itself. And some of these leaves started to yellow, others were getting thin. But now that I've tied a lot of this stuff up, it's gonna give the plants the airflow that they need, as well as the sun penetration they need to make sure that the leaves stay healthy, and to make sure that we get because these are beefsteaks. Oh no, this is cooked. This branch is broken. Oh well, bye-bye. Throw it under. That's what we do. We throw it back to the ground, dude. That's where it came out of. put it back on the ground. We have a ton of tomatoes still down in here. I wasn't able to tie every single thing up. I wasn't being lazy here. I just didn't have enough time. I'm also taking care of my garden at the community garden plot. That hasn't taken a whole lot of time, but it's just, it's just transit. But everything's looking fantastic. I'm hoping that we can get a lot more size on our beefsteaks. You can see we have more down here. They're layers and layers and layers, but some of them are ripening too early. And for those, I literally just grab, snap off, and throw back on the ground, because the thing about beefsteaks, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to cut and trim off a bunch of the berries so that they can give energy to one or two and get to their full size. I should probably be doing that, but I'm not. I don't mind a normal mid-sized beefsteak. I'm not trying to grow a world record beefsteak. So whenever we start getting larger beefsteaks, whenever we start getting the smaller beefsteak tomatoes that are ripening, I'll snap them off. And then once we finally get to the point to where we can get a larger beefsteak tomato, I'll stop snapping them off. But for now, they're growing fine. They're doing well. Everything's looking super healthy, except for probably right around in here, but it's not looking that bad either. We're gonna have a lot of tomatoes. This isn't the only tomato area, is the thing. So let's go ahead and grab our box and we'll head on down to the beans. I didn't mean for this to happen. This is supposed to be bush beans. The packet literally said Kentucky Wonder bush beans. These are not bush beans. These were all pole beans. Given I love pole beans. Pole beans are awesome because they continue to develop throughout the season. They don't just stop like a bush bean will. They'll grow, they'll flower, they'll make their beans, they'll grow more, they'll flower, they'll make more beans. But holy monkey, look at this. They're everywhere. They're taking over. They're all the way over here on my other sunflowers. Like I said, I planted way too many sunflowers. But let's go ahead and see if we can grab some of these beans off of here. Ooh, we're gonna have beans for a while. Look at these in here. Man, these are big. Now, I saw these a while back, but I wanted to wait specifically for our garden update and harvest video to pull them. So these are Kentucky Wonder. Oh, I just cut that off. Whoopsie. These are Kentucky Wonder beans. You can see they're flatter. They still make their beans inside. I'm not gonna let them go too far though. And these are the Blue Lake pole beans. Very fat, very good, love it. And we got a bunch of each of them down here. And I apologize because we are doing POV shot again today. And the reason is I don't have a whole lot of time to do this today, and I don't have time to be setting up shots. It takes a lot of time to do these YouTube videos, especially when you're actually also doing something that by itself takes a ton of work and time and energy. So I have to kind of make a decision on how I want to present. Of course, for my other videos, the teaching videos, the foundation series, I'll set up the shot. But for this, I'll be moving around too much. I'm moving around too much to really set up a good shot and not be spending 3 hours, because that's what I literally will end up spending is 3 hours. I'm trying to set up a shot, do the recording, and also do the thing on the garden that I need to do. Those are gorgeous. Wow, wow, wow. Those are gorgeous. It's another Kentucky Wonder. No, I don't know what this is. It looks like a Kentucky Wonder, but it's a little thick like a Blue Lake. I think that's Kentucky Wonder, I'm not sure. My wife calls this the Blair Witch Project POV. But today, this is what we're doing. I'm trying my best not to make you guys dizzy by looking this way and that way constantly and giving you whiplash, making you dizzy. And more than likely, I'll end up editing a little bit to cut out a lot of the turning and such. Ooh, look at that. That's a big one in there. Look at you. Gorgeous. Oh, I broke out the end of it. We'll probably have those for dinner anyway. I know there's a ton more in here, but I can't see or reach all of them. And in order to do that, I need to go around back. And I'm not gonna go around back while doing this video. Now that would make you dizzy because I gotta squeeze back there and get around all of my other tomatoes and squash plant down there. But no, everything's looking gorgeous. Everything's looking fantastic. It's magical, it really is. I wasn't planning on having a bean jungle over here, but that's the way it happened. And honestly, I couldn't be happier. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful. It's gonna provide us with a lot of food over this next little bit of time. Beans are a great survival food, a great source of calories, great source of protein, and a lot of other things to help keep you healthy, fed, keep your family fed. They produce a lot in very little space. This space that I'm growing all these beans in is probably 3 by 4. So 12 square feet, all these beans, 12 square feet. And of course, this is pole beans, and I created an apparatus to hold everything, but it's possible, and that's what we're here to show you on Beyond the Box Gardens. So think beyond the box, think beyond what is possible, and try something different, try something new, try something crazy. Like Seal said, we're never gonna survive unless we get a little crazy. Yes, Seal is one of my favorite artists. Yes, he is, and he's an amazing artist. That's how you know I'm a millennial. When Seal is my favorite, one of my favorite artists. Look at all these, wow. These are only just kind of starting. Look at all these buds. Oh, it's gonna be crazy. And we already got a crap ton just in that one little harvest. Look at that, look at that. Wow, okay. So I think that's all we're gonna do for now on these beans. You can see we have a ton of little beans coming. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any. I don't want them to get too big. The thing about pole beans as well, I will be allowing some of these pole beans to go all the way because I need some more seeds. These are heirloom. I wanna basically propagate them forward because after this run of growing, they're gonna grow even faster next year when we plant them because they'll know the weather already. They'll know the environment. They'll know how to grow in the soil that they're growing in. Yeah, that's all we're gonna do for beans right now. I can't really see any more. And the thing is, when these beans are ready, they're not super hard to miss. The most difficult thing is getting further back here because this is deep. This is deep. And all these are just at the front layer. So we're gonna get more of those later on. You can see over here, we have our, this is supposed to be herbs. You can see we still have a bunch of herbs that are growing well under here. This one's savory. The savory is growing really well and it smells phenomenal. We have some Thai basil. We have a couple Thai basil. We have more savory. It's a mess under here because, as I said before, the beans are taking over. These squash plants are taking over. And I know that the squash plants are supposed to get big, but they're over this in-ground compost, and this in-ground compost is making them insane. It's making them ridiculous, you know? And like I said, I probably have 9 squash plants right here in this area, and I didn't realize it. I knew when I planted them, but I forgot about it. I actually planted a whole load of these scallop squash. This is called a patty squash, and it is actually delicious. Like, it's very dense, so it's really good to cook with, and when you cook it, it doesn't get squishy like a zucchini. Not only that, but the flavor, whenever you first eat it, it's very mild, but after, the aftertaste is a very strong citrusy flavor, and it gives dishes a very unique taste, and I really enjoy it. I've never grown patty squash before. This is my first year growing the patty squash, and honestly, I think this is a keeper. It's gonna store really well because of its density, and it cooks up really well. You don't have to peel it or anything. You can eat the whole thing just as it is. You can eat it raw or cooked. Patty squash. Good choice. Now you can see we're gonna go forward a little bit here because this is what I actually wanted. What I actually wanted was butternut squash, and boy did we get butternut squash. I'm about to step on one right now, as a matter of fact. Look at that. Look at that. It looks like a cigar. Look at this thing. This is gonna be massive, and this whole butternut squash plant is coming up and it's branching off, and I'm having to tie more branches back up to this trellis. I'm gonna tie this up here. Hopefully it can grab on with this little tendril. And then we have 2 more growing there, 1, 2. And like I said, we're over this in-ground compost. This in-ground compost is making this stuff go nuts. It's insane. So we got this one, and then that's a whole other plant over there on that side. And I can't see any butternut squash in that other plant yet, but I know that it is just about to do the same thing. The bees are loving everything over here. That's a wasp. He's loving everything. The bees are absolutely loving it. And they've been helping us so much this year with pollination. They've been pollinating all of our tomatillos. They've been pollinating our green docks and aromas back there. We're gonna do here, we're gonna look through. This is super dense, and I planted these probably a week or so, maybe 2 weeks after I planted the main bushes over there. So these aren't as ready as those ones are, but you can see that this plant is still super loaded with fruit. Look at this set here. Gorgeous. We have sets in here. We have a set down here. Gorgeous. Set over here. And we have some more sets, of course, deeper down in here. And whenever these guys are ready, they glow. Look at that. And these things taste so good. They taste so good. Whenever they're completely ready, they remind me of a green grape, but it's like a very, very developed, delicious green grape. I don't know how to explain the flavor. All I can tell you is please find green docks. Green docks. Those are the ones you want for an amazing, amazing. I don't know if this is technically a cherry tomato or if it's a currant or a currant, but green dot, that's the name of this tomato. Oh, yum, yum. I'm gonna have this for lunch. Oh, look at how it glows. Woo! Baby. All right, there's more under there. See if this one's ready. To tell if they're ready or not, all you have to do is, oh, see, that one wasn't ready. You can see the color difference. This one's a little bit green and glowy, and this one's like white almost. So that one goes back to the ground. Gorgeous. And like I said before, this is deep as well. This whole garden area is about 7 or 8 feet deep that way. So the camera really doesn't do it a whole lot of justice in showing you how much there is here. And I am not going to go on a safari or a jungle adventure in here right now, because every time I do, I gotta take a shower because it's itchy. It makes me so itchy. You have no idea. Back there, you can also see we have another squash plant. That's another patty squash. I think I may end up having another butternut squash back there as well by accident. But you know what? The more the merrier. There's plenty of nutrients. There's plenty of light. You can see everything super green and super healthy. We're gonna keep it going. Now down here, we have our tomatillos. These are the purple Coben tomatillos. We got our bee there. Hi, Mr. Bee. Hi, Mr. Bee. I think that's the bee king, one of the bee king's bees down the street. His bees are really big and healthy. You can usually tell the wild bees from his domesticated bees. His domesticated bees be looking like cars flying around here. But they're doing great with our tomatillos. Tomatillos are doing great. I just pulled off like 3 or 4 and I didn't realize I had to look at some pictures. These things are supposed to turn completely purple when they're ready. They're supposed to turn completely purple and they're supposed to be sticking out of their husk. This one's almost there. You see it? It's almost there, but it's gotta turn completely purple. They taste amazing. I don't know, because I haven't let them turn completely purple yet, but what they taste like to me, they taste like kiwi. They taste almost exactly like kiwi to me, and it's it's a very odd experience. So we have a lot of different types of tomatoes here, a lot. Back on the back side over there, we also have our brandywine that are actually growing really well too, even though it's super dark back there, you can see. And you can also see if I zoom in a little bit, all the flowers, all the bean flowers that are growing back there too. But down here, I wanted to show you, we have some beautiful Roma tomatoes. These are some plain Romas. They aren't San Marzano or anything. I think they're just plain Roma. They're doing really well. I've been able to keep them from getting bud-in rot. Roma tomatoes are very, very susceptible to bud-in rot. They are a low moisture content tomato, which naturally makes them kind of not pull in as much moisture. So you have to almost overcompensate to make sure that they don't get that bud-in rot. These are looking fantastic. These are looking fantastic. So all these more than likely are going to end up going in the freezer so that we can make some yummy sauce. And the reason why you want to put them in the freezer is because the freezing basically shatters the cell wall of the Roma tomatoes and makes them even smoother than they otherwise would be if you were just to simply boil them, cook them down that way. You can still get a good smooth tomato sauce, but putting them in the freezer is the next level up. You can see how big these guys are. Look how big. Look at how big this thing is. Oh my God. Oh my God. We got some broccoli here that have been here since like last year. I don't know when I planted those broccoli, I'm not gonna lie. I think I planted them at the beginning of the season. We got a few broccoli off of them. What I ended up doing, I just let them go. The birds have been eating all the seeds that have been growing on them and whatnot. And then of course in this line, we have our sugar pie pumpkins. I cannot wait for some sugar pie pumpkin, baby. I used to not like pumpkin. I used to not like pumpkin until I had pumpkin from the garden. That's the thing about gardening and getting fresh food directly from the garden, a live food that still has life in it. It's a completely different experience than getting food from the grocery store. This is a sugar pie pumpkin. I haven't actually grown this one before, but I have grown another variety of pumpkin that we ate before. And I can tell you that one was amazing. I'm sure this is gonna be even better because this is specifically for making pumpkin pie. It's a high sugar content pumpkin. So I am so excited about that. We have 3 here. 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure how number 3 is gonna do. I think I might end up having to do some fertilizer here. This, of course, is also above another in-ground composting trench. We got some fertilizer on here. We're gonna try and get these guys to size up. The whole plant needs to get a lot bigger to get some big pumpkins, to get enough pumpkins, to get a few pumpkins, and stop this mess. You can see this one just died on us, you know. A lot of times this will happen if there's not enough water, but I have been watering it a lot. Everything ain't gonna be perfect, you know, unfortunately. This, where we are right now, these pumpkins typically like full sun all day, 8 full hours of sun. This area probably only gets about 2 to 4 full hours of full sun because we do have a big canopy of trees here. And then it's only right here when it starts to get more sun. And there's not a whole lot we can do about that. Next year, what I'll probably do is I'll probably end up planting my pumpkins over there somewhere. And I really feel like that's why these tomatoes and beans did as well as they have, because mostly they have pretty full sun for a good portion of the day. And I planted them here because I wanted them to have that full sun, but I didn't want them to have so much sun that they start to burn and have a whole lot of heat stress. That is probably going to do it for our primary garden update. The next update we do is going to be late August, at which point we're probably going to have a whole lot more vegetables to be harvesting, and that's going to be magnificent. Stay tuned, because we're going to be doing that late August. We have foundation series that we're going to be talking about watering. We have jasmine. We have I resurrected a jasmine plant in our front yard, in our front yard garden. We have our harvest for our potatoes. The potatoes are actually entirely done at this point. Now they're just in the ground, kind of curing and waiting for us to dig them up. The corn is popping. Everything's doing amazing. We got all these tomatoes that are about to come to harvest. All those tomatoes and tomatillos. We got all types of stuff coming. We got carrots. We got carrots that are coming. I'm going to also be doing a video on systems. We have a very, very locked in system here at our household, from composting to putting stuff in the ground to growing the food to preserving our food, canning. I built my BCBG big box for our potatoes and our other storable crops. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff we're going to be covering this month, so stay tuned. This is going to be it for this episode of Beyond the Box Gardens. I'm Daniel. Make sure you guys get out there, plant something, get some dirt in your mouth. You know, make sure you feed your good gut microbiome. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next one, never stop growing. Later.